Before we start, if you guys enjoy spooky stories about rules, horror, or time travel for the time being, be sure to drop a subscribe if you enjoy this content. Let's get into the story. Before we get into the story, this is a multiple part story, this being part 3. If you guys have not heard part 1 and 2, be sure to go check them out. Let's get started. My future/alternate self came in and had just murdered 2 versions of Sakith, who had not only tried to kill me, but had also impaled my landlord to the wall with a sword. And then he topped his entry off with a Terminator-esque one-liner. I really should send this image back to yesterday morning and see how my past self reacts to this insanity. I groaned in pain as Khalid 2, or was it Khalid T1000, came over and helped me stand up. "You two okay?" he asked. I felt the muscles in his arm. Why was this motherfucker so much stronger than I am? I can't believe there's a gym rat version of myself. That one was crawling on the ceiling. Sakith was freaking out now. Why the fuck was he crawling on the ceiling? "I'm okay," I said. "Okay? None of this shit is okay," Sakith said angrily. "I can deal with time travel, man, but what the fuck is that demonic Spider-Man shit?" "Do you want to know right now?" Khalid 2 said. "We could do that and have the other Sakiths and the cops join the conversation. Or we could go someplace else." "What about the dead bodies?" I asked. "Leave them. We'll be hitting rewind ASAP," he replied. "What? Again? Clearly it hasn't been working out to our advantage and has only been making things worse," Sakith said. "If it wasn't for that machine, you both would be dead by now," Khalid 2 said. But we wouldn't be in this mess if it wasn't for the machine now, would we?" "The truth," Sakith tried to say before I cut him off. "Fuck, dude. Can we please leave before the police comes?" It was a dark morning. Delhi's early November smog had completely obscured the sun and had made it nigh impossible to breathe normally. The temperature had started to drop, and I really wish I had taken out a jacket or something. I looked around and saw that things were not like what I was expecting. It was far too normal. The neighborhood was starting to come alive as I saw people come out for their morning walks. A couple of neighbors looked in our direction inquisitively, and I gave them a friendly wave. "Nothing to see here, folks. Those shotgun blasts you heard earlier were nothing." Diwali had only passed by a couple of days ago, so it wasn't surprising that people were choosing to ignore gunshots. Probably some leftover firecrackers, they thought. I mean, who the fuck would have a shotgun here of all places anyways? This wasn't Texas. Gun laws actually meant something here. Well, cops might not have come, but more Sakiths could show up anytime, so might as well leave. I watched Khalid 2 lead us to his car. He really was something. He wasn't just muscular, he had this aura, like he knew how to get shit done. What an impressive man, I smiled. I was going to be him one day. It was a short drive over to the university. It was strange. None of us said anything, even though there was so much to talk about. We each had our own shit to deal with, I guess. I, for one, couldn't help but think about how inconvenient it was that in the new timeline, my memory of the time between my receiving the message and the time when I'd originally sent it back in the first timeline was always lost. Sure, carrying memories of the original timeline was convenient, but waking up in a strange place with no idea how you got there, that was getting old. I had a faint idea of what I would most likely do when I receive a memory packet, but recent events had shown that things spun far too quickly out of control. Physically traveling back in time, like the Sakith clones, or Khalid 2 seeming to be so much better. Khalid 2 applied the brakes, bringing me out of my reverie. He got out of the car, went around to the back, and brought a shotgun out of the trunk. "You two stay here, I'll be back," he said, and off he went. I saw the way he handled his weapon. Clean, efficient. He had clearly been trained in this. "I'm so tired, man. Feels like I haven't slept in days," Sakith said. "You might as well have," I replied. "Time is a little different for us now, isn't it?" "Yeah," he admitted with a chuckle. "So, you looking forward to some answers?" I wonder what he'll say about my alternate versions trying to... He was cut off by shotgun blast and screaming. Oh shit, I said. Does it ever fucking end? Before Sakith could reply, one of his clones came flying out of the window of the lab and landed on the hood of the car with a sickening thud. An eyeball rolled over too and settled between the wiper and the windshield. Gross. Khalid too popped his head out of the shattered window and gestured at us to come up. We found at least 2 dead Sakiths as we made our way upstairs. Yes, I really would like some answers. Overwrite the last message you sent. Instead of trying to capture that one back at your house, come find me at this address. He handed me a piece of paper. I'll tell you everything you want to know. 3:30 p.m. I felt warm, the sort of warmth you feel when you're at your grandparents' house during Christmas vacations, curled up in a blanket after a day of frolicking around with your cousins. I slowly blinked, opened my eyes, and looked around. It didn't seem like a hotel room. It was far too intimate for that. Someone's house? Whose, though? Was it the address in the paper? Maybe it's just not that important. I remember sending a message back and then straight away waking up here. I guess I must have already been asleep when I already reached the time I had sent the memory packet back. I got up, stretched my back. Fuck, I was so sore. Opening up the bedroom, I peeked outside and found Sakith talking to Khalid too. It's still so damn weird watching yourself like this. I really don't know how twins live their lives without freaking out all the time. When did you wake up? I asked Sakith. About half an hour ago, he answered. So can we talk now? This guy, he pointed at Khalid too, refuses to say anything until you wake up. I thanked Khalid too as he offered me a coffee. Of course I would know what I wanted when I wake up. So, what do you guys want to know? He asked. Sakith opened and closed his mouth like a fish, thousands of questions running through his head. Why is he trying to kill me? I asked, jerking me a thumb at Sakith as I took a sip of that perfect coffee. Straight to the heavy stuff, huh? I like it, Khalid too said. 2 words. Professional jealousy. Excuse me? Sakith protested. Yes, you heard me, Khalid too said. Sounds ridiculous, but it is true. See, you guys together invent the memory machine, true, but it's you, he points at me, who invents the actual time machine. The one that I used to save your asses back there. The thing is, there's a problem with the memory machine that makes it impossible for it to be made public. So since it is Khalid who invents the actual time machine, he is remembered as the superior scientist. I smiled. That was but obvious. Bullshit, Sakith interrupted. I shushed him. Sidelined, divorced, and childless, Sakith turns bitter. Khalid too continues. And this is fucking nonsense, Sakith shouts as he looks at me, aghast. You really believe this shit? Tell me, if the time machine is famous in this future or other futures of other worlds, why hasn't it been used by others? I'm getting to that, calm down, Khalid too said. A. The memory machine is heavily controlled by a company Khalid sets up, and only a few people are even aware it exists or how it works. Also, even if it was used repeatedly, you wouldn't know for reasons that I shall get into soon. B. The machine that physically allows you to travel through time can only be used by me or someone who shares my exact DNA, that is, other versions of myself. So what's wrong with the memory machine, I asked. Well, it kills you every time you use it, he said in a very matter-of-fact manner. Excuse me? I asked, feeling stunned. See, I told you he was fucking bullshitting, Sakith exclaimed. Yes, it kills you, Khalid too continued. Every time you use it, or rather every time you shift timelines, your soul or mind, whatever the fuck you want to call it, leaves your body in the original timeline and goes to the body in the new timeline. People in the original timeline are left looking at your corpse. Holy shit, I whispered. How do we know that you're not lying? Sakith asked softly. You could try it, Khalid too countered. I'd be more than happy to produce your dead body to Khalid here as proof. I'm not exactly very fond of Sakiths currently, even though you're still in the friendship stage and haven't turned into a psychopath. No, that's okay, I said quickly. The headaches I get are because my mind is adjusting to my new body, isn't it? Yes. Ha! So it wasn't your migraine, was it? Sakith said, triumphantly. I rolled my eyes. So again, why is he trying to kill me? Like I said, Sakith grows jealous of the fact that you got famous building off of research that you both worked on. He comes over to your house one day on a friendly visit, assaults you, and steals your research. He plans on going back in time to release his work before you can, to hog the limelight for himself. But as I said, the time machine cannot be used by anyone other than those with the exact same DNA as mine. So the time traveling starts to break his mind. He turns into a murderous monster, losing his intelligence the more he uses the machine. Both the versions, Khalid 2 answered. Wow, that is the most nonsensical shit I've ever heard in my life, Sakith clapped, mockingly. Bravo, my friend. What about the strange powers, superhuman strength, and crawling on the walls? I questioned. I don't completely understand that myself. I think that too is a side effect of using the machines, Khalid 2 said. But why are there so many of them running around trying to kill Khalid? Sakith asked. Alternate realities, Khalid 2 answered. It could be many things. It could be that they all betrayed their own Khalids and are converging on this Khalid, he points at me. For some reason I don't understand, or it could be that the Sakits that betrayed me is going to all the timelines we created and is recruiting more Sakits and giving them their own time machines. But why would they seek revenge? Their Khalid died when he used the memory machine, didn't he? Sakith asked. Who knows? Maybe using the machine is what turned them into monsters, and my Sakith is the one somehow controlling them. The possibilities are endless, Khalid 2 said. Oh, my fucking head is starting to hurt again. Good God, is this shit confusing, I said. A strange, beeping sound interrupted our conversation. Khalid 2 looked at his wristwatch that was emitting a green light. Sakith's incoming. Wait here. I'll get some guns for you two, he said, and left the room. The fuck? He knows when they are close? None of this makes any sense, Sakith said when Khalid 2 was gone. I'm not the sort of type to betray you like this. You know me. Something is off about this whole situation. Please don't trust him blindly. It could be dangerous. I'm not trusting him blindly, but he did save our lives, Sakith. That counts for something. Let's just go with him for now and do our own investigation, I said. The truth was, I was leaning towards believing Khalid 2. I was always the true brains of our operation, always pushing us to get out of our comfort zone, to try to build something new. If it wasn't for me, Sakith would happily waste his life in mediocrity. It wouldn't surprise me if in the future Sakith got jealous of my success and tried to betray me. But I wasn't an idiot. I would keep my cards close to my chest and look at them both with suspicion. Gunshots. They were here. I heard screaming from the outside and I knew Khalid 2 was fighting them. I ducked and fell down to the floor as the living room window broke and bullets smashed into the walls. Guns are so much louder than what the movies would have you believe. I crawled over to where Sakith was, lying on the floor as glass exploded and fell on my back in pieces. He was curled up in a corner covering his ears. Poor chap, he really wasn't cut out for this. Then again, he was the one trying to kill me, wasn't he? So maybe he was cut out for this. I heard loud footsteps coming up in the stairs as the gunfire slowed down. Please let it be Khalid 2. My familiar face came into view as he walked into the room. We need to move. I've taken care of them for now, he began before a Sakith slammed into his back, bringing him down to the floor. Khalid 2 punched the struggling Sakith demon, who ducked, and Khalid 2's fist slammed into the attacking Sakith's face, destroying his skull and creating deep cracks in the cemented floor. More Sakith demons came in and attacked Khalid 2. I tried to help him, but Sakith cut me off. Don't. We have our own problems. I turned around. He was right. 3 Sakiths stepped into the room through the window, armed to the teeth. Take him, one of them shouted, and in seconds I was in handcuffs. They were too strong and too fast for me to handle. They threw a dark cloth over my face and carried me away, presumably back through the window. I heard my Sakith, or Sakith 1, scream my name, but his voice quickly faded. I was thrown into what seemed to be the trunk of a car. Oh fuck, this was bad. I was going to die. Fuck you, Sakith, you jealous piece of shit.